What's up? All right, guys. I was going through the archive, and I came across an old one from the vault. An interview I did a couple years ago with a fella y'all might know, goes by the name Abelheart. And some things age very well, and one of those things is positivity. So I really wanted to bring this one back here so you guys can hear my conversation with one of the brightest humans and most explicitly happy human beings I've ever met before, which is much needed now more than ever. This is my conversation a couple years back with the one and only Abelheart.
This is Abelheart, and this is my song, Money.
Money coming to me, I'm manifesting all things good. Money coming to me, money running through me. Tuned into the frequency, the bass, keep it booming. Feeling superhuman, I ain't never losing. Money coming to me in abundance, keep it moving. Pedal to the metal, money something special. It gives me the freedom, I don't ever have to settle. Money ain't the devil, money is the vessel. Taking me to places, put me on the next level. Look at the money coming, I'm getting funny with it. I broke out the program, then I free myself from the glitch. Manifest all of it, I just envisioned it. Delivered by the universe, it ships and packages. Impossible. Shut up, some people need to shut up. Always getting mad, cause I'm working on a come up. What up, you really want abundance, and all you gotta do is sing along, repeat it. Money coming to me, money running through me. Tuned into the frequency, the bass, keep it booming. Feeling superhuman, I ain't never losing. Money coming to me in abundance, keep it moving. Pedal to the metal, money something special. It gives me the freedom, I don't ever have to settle. Money ain't the devil, money is the vessel. Taking me to places, put me on the next level. All I want is freedom, I don't need a reason. I kick back and I relax, I don't listen to my demons. Who you think you fooling? I just keep it moving. I don't slack when I get that motivation, I be tuned in. Hold up, I just envision dollars. More than I can imagine, got me feeling like a baller. Shot caller, just taking what I holler. If you really want abundance, sing along, repeat it. Money coming to me, money running through me. Tuned into the frequency, the bass, keep it booming. Feeling superhuman, I ain't never losing. Money coming to me in abundance, keep it moving. Pedal to the metal, money something special. It gives me the freedom, I don't ever have to settle. Money ain't the devil, money is the vessel. Taking me to places, put me on the next level. Money coming to me, money coming to me.
I am super pumped for today's guest. We got Abelheart on the show today, producer, artist, manifesting wizard. Dude, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love doing these, so I appreciate you having me. Seriously.
Dude, I should have added to the intro mustache man right in there.
Literally just gonna say, new mustache man. This is my first
New
one.
mustache man.
So anyone that's not into mustaches, I apologize ahead of time that you're gonna have to watch this. You're better probably just turning the video off and
Yeah.
just listening. But if you are, here you go.
I want to get right into it. It's been a minute since I've been able to talk to people about the healing nature of music, and a quote comes to mind. I'm going to read out that after doing a deep dive on your history and such, man, and knowing what I know about being a musician wellness coach, oftentimes, like, your music is so bright, it's so uplifting, it's so fun, and it just gets people into the vibe, right? Myself included. That's what really turned me on to when I first heard it. I was like, dude's got a vibe. This is cool. I know from my experience, both personally and as a professional in the industry, that there's a quote: "The darkest nights mean you see the stars the most." If you're familiar with K-Flay,
No, I've never
her
heard of
song
that. That's
Dreamers.
phenomenal.
Go check that song out. Okay, that was one of the songs that, like, when I was in a really dark space, that was one of the songs that, like, I get it.
Yeah.
And because your music is so positive, because I know that usually, that the light usually comes from darkness. What was that shadow life for you, dude?
Did you say the shadow light? Like what
That
was?
shadow life, yeah. What was the darkness for you?
Never heard of that term before. I like that. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. Without like making this like a 20-hour long podcast and trying to sum it up. Yeah, I mean, I was lost. I mean, the bottom line is I was just lost. I didn't feel like I had purpose. And this is after. So you mentioned briefly training and that sort of stuff. Athletics. That was my everything since I was young. So that's all I wanted to do. That's all I was going to do the rest of my life. Nothing else. and very narrow-minded. Mind you, I was very young, but also like that's what I was great at, and it made sense. And I could just, I was like, worst come to worst, I'll just live in a cabin at the top of a hill and I'll be able to snowboard every single day. That's it, Like I loved it. It was my purest joy, which when you really look at the simplicity of that, it's like that's actually phenomenal. Like that's all you need, and like you're purely internally fulfilled and happy. Mind you, it was not that deep for me, I was so young. It's like, yeah, I like the snowboard. You know what I mean? Um, but so so after competing for a while, that's a whole long story of competition and how I got into that. It just came to me naturally. Really, I was very, I guess you could say, talented, and we could get on the topic of talented throughout this. I have a weird thing with the word talent when it
Cool.
comes to music, because
Yeah.
it didn't come naturally to me. Like I was just saying, snowboarding did. Just made sense. Anything athletics or that was like physical just made sense, and I could do it. And that's how it was for snowboarding. So I competed since I was very young, maybe like 4 or 5, traveled, was very fortunate to be able to travel around the world and do so. And then one day, just like any sort of sport, but definitely extreme sports, it comes with, injury. It's just the way it is. That
Risk,
would be a
they would say.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it would be a shorter list to tell you the bones that I haven't broken. But the one that put me out when I was, when I want to say my time frame back then is so all over the place, but I want to say around 15, 16, maybe like 15 is when it put me out. I fractured my lower back, and that was the one that like really took me out for a long time, just because, just because it's my back.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and since it took me out for so long, the level in that interim of me having to, rehabilitate my health, my fitness, and all that, the sport progressed so fast. It's not like it is now. People are doing like quadruple cork, freaking 1260s, and back then it was like the 900 was like the holy moly,
Yeah.
But I feel like it progressed that much in such a short amount of time. That paired with the fact that now I was riding with a team that helped like fund and support people that didn't necessarily have the money, because traveling is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents obviously did everything they possibly could, but definitely after the injury and all the hospital stuff, I think at that point too, around 15, it started to catch up to me. Like my parents are trying to do this, and then if I go back, they're going to put out all this money, because I stopped riding for the team and all of these. So I think I took a lot of that weight on, trying to look back and diagnose the things that were very subconscious back then. I wasn't consciously aware of a lot of this, but I was starting to become. And so since I had lost what I love most in this world, externally, I didn't make that call, that choice, right? But
Correct.
because that's what I felt like my purpose, which that's the main key word takeaway here. My purpose here on planet Earth was taken away, and I no longer have that. I say I got the case of the I don't want to curse, but like the F-its, it's like, well, then F this, F that, like F this, F that, I'm not going to do it. I don't care. Like, I'm just going to be a part of the 27 club, and that's what it is. And it sounds very morbid, but again, I think paired with the fact that I was young and I was hurt, like I don't want to make this a boo-hoo story, because it's really not. If I would have just sucked it the F up and understood and realized, like, and my mom I love my parents. I'm so grateful for them. They've always been super supportive, even if they couldn't or do things. They're just like, go after your dreams, do whatever it is. But my mom would always say, this, like, there's not just one thing that you're good at. You could do anything. And I never wanted to look at that. I was like, I don't want to do that. Now, mind you, my dad was in music my whole life. My mom, since I was a baby, would bring me in the clubs while he would play, but it was never something that I wanted to do. He's also 100%er, so he mixes, masters, produces, sound design, engineers, sings, writes, plays guitar, does all that, right?
You got
But
a
it was,
mustache though.
I wonder if he's had a mustache,
He better have, dude. Come on, 70.
Yeah.
Come on.
I would think so. I mean, he was like
probably
70s, 80s man, so I feel like that was around that time, right?
He's like Starsky for sure.
Yeah. You know what? I wonder if he sees my social media lately. Maybe he does. I feel like he would have called me, but so probably not. But when he does see it and he sees the mustache, I feel like he's going to be super proud. I feel
Sorry
I feel
to
like I'm going to get a call.
but I mean, like, he's got 100%er. Does he have a mustache? I don't know.
That's true. So he's only a 99%er. I got him beat. I appreciate that,
Yeah, it's looking at a different angle, right?
That's true. Yeah. Hopefully I get the call. But no, I grew up around music my whole life, but it was never, I think I always say when you're so close to something, you tend to neglect to see, the value or the possibilities in something. It's just there.
Yeah.
He would always try and get me to like come down and record something. I was so insecure though. I did it a couple times and I just remember getting so frustrated. I was like, no, that stinks, like that's the worst take ever. And this, like, don't even play that. Don't listen to it. My dad would be like, that was amazing. Even though it really wasn't, he's just being a
Right.
good dad. But yeah, everybody came down I was too insecure. So I had the case of the efforts. And my mentality was, 27 club. It is what it is. I'm going to like do whatever I want and experience. Cause mind you, I didn't go to like normal high school. We had, with part of the team, there was a traveling tutor. So I didn't have like the normal high school experience. I would go for like maybe like a half a semester or a semester, and then I would travel. So I didn't have friends like that. I'd be the kid which I felt so much pressure by this, but because again, Olympics was the goal for me in that sport. So I felt so much pressure. I'd go in for like that half a semester or whatever, and then people that I didn't really know, they weren't really my friends, but I kind of knew. But I'd be like,
Mm.
going to the Olympics, he's going to the Olympics, he's going to leave and whatever. So I always felt so much pressure. But again, a lot of my fear behind so much stuff and a lot of things that we'll get into and how like my music even evolved, or like we're even having this conversation to be able to reach a mass amount, was overcoming fears. It's like, it's everything,
Yeah.
but that's what it was. So I got caught up to round circle, like fully try and answer your question. I got caught up with the wrong people, places, and things because of also the things that I now talk about. The frequency, I was in. And mind you, for sure, it was valid, but I'm very which is probably the training and snowboarding. I'm very military mentality. I don't project that or put that out a lot on social media. I am to myself. I don't do that in particular because, for one, I know that's not everyone's. I want to be able to connect and resonate with as many people as possible. And I've been able to learn myself. I couldn't fake it. Like I am who I am on social media. You mentioned earlier, like a persona. Now it's really just fully me. Like I feel I've never felt more myself on social media ever in my life than I do right now. Like we could get off this call and not be anything. I'm this way,
Yeah.
the silly stuff. Humor has changed my life. Like I love putting stuff out that's like that. And really, it's again breaking the fear of all that, because if you look at any of the stuff and some of the stuff you touched on or mentioned earlier, I would never have done. I would have went in the street and danced with my shirt off or whatever the case is. You know how much fear, and I didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
point being, I've been doing music now over a decade, like close to 14 years, which is unbelievable, and it definitely dates me at this point. But I didn't do any of that for that amount of time up until recently, within the last year. And shout out, I don't know if you talked to Charles, my
Yeah.
manager, and we grew up together, right? He was never
Okay.
it was
Cool.
never, we grew up and used to film and the stuff that we do now. And I remember him always being like, bro, like you got to do this. I'm like, I'm not doing that. As a
Yeah.
kid, just too many fears. Really just like the evolution of human growth and me going through things and like coming out on the other side and understanding something different than the way I thought things were. Don't want to make that like too deep, but that's just kind of the
Oh,
evolution
dude.
of human beings. And they always say hindsight is 2020.
That's
Uh,
exactly it.
so yeah, he definitely was a big part within this last like year and a half, like stepping into that. I think because I never had anybody in my corner. So after snowboarding, I'm trying not to jump around here. After snowboarding, I went back to school, had the case of the efforts, started associating with people, places, and things that weren't the best because of the frequency I was in. And yeah, I mean, it was continuous rock bottoms. It was just rock bottom after rock bottom. I struggled, with drugs, depression, and I feel like most of the things that you hear a lot of people struggle with before something
Big. Yeah.
amazing happens, right? And it's like, it's such a simple thing to say, to someone and hope that gives them hope. But when you're in that place, it's like, you know, you have to, it stinks. And I wish no one had to go through it. And the truth of the matter is, you don't have to have that like external trauma, like the traumatic experience to have
Mm.
a great change in your life, because that, unfortunately, for a lot of people, that's what has to happen. It's like a diagnosis, or you lose someone or something happens. And then you're like, oh my gosh, like I need to get my stuff together and I need to go to the gym, or I need to do this and I need to reconnect with this person and do this. And I need to really go after my goals. I have to quit this job. I can't work this 9 to 5 for the rest of my life and turn out like X, Y, and Z, so you don't have to reach a traumatic experience or have a traumatic experience to have that change, but I know a lot of people do it. I did, like, unfortunately, and I had people in my corner that were telling me I didn't have to go through it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of the evolution, and everyone's evolution journey is different, but I don't want people to hear that and take away, like, because that could hold you back. When you realize you're so different than anybody else, that could hold you back to know who you're supposed to relate to and understand where to move next, and hear the words
Yeah.
of, because we're so like, oh, we're so different. This person had it like this, or this person grew up with parents that had X, Y, and Z. I never felt that way, like I never, again, I'm very fortunate for my parents' mentality, but I never grew up like, I never had that thought, like, oh, so-and-so grew up with like parents that had a bunch of money, even though that wasn't my experience, but I could still look at them, even though, yeah, that would be awesome,
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
dope, like he gets to ride his parents' Bentley or whatever the case. But I think I knew from training that would hold me back mentality wise,
Of course. Yeah. So almost like you got to put walls up, and just do you, right? Like, and the minute that you found it, just watching the evolution from, an innocent bystander as I am, I'm sitting here going like, dude, and a lot of people don't deep dive into the actual artist's life though, but it's, it is. So I love that you touched on like how the military, the discipline, being really, not necessarily maybe hard on yourself, but being like looking for 100%, looking for like
Yeah.
always looking to be better than where you were yesterday, right? And that's a big thing. I think a lot of people have trouble with, and this may touch on your point with talent, because I'm very similar in my belief of that word, because people read you and they see, okay, kid busts his back, has a woohoo, goes, oh, maybe I should change and be happy, and then things will get better, and then he gets a break and now he's famous. Oh, okay, cool. And it's not that way, right? Like, that was a lot of hard work, right? 2019 brings you into the world with Songland, right? And a lot of people that don't do, and they are in a negative mindset, they're in a victim mentality. They look at that and they say, oh, okay, cool. Well, you just got his break because, the Joe Bros, right? Like, and anybody who it reads into it actually knows that came with a lot more hard work and trials and tribulations for years by the sounds of it, right? And I mean, overcoming insecurity in yourself as an artist, overcoming insecurity as yourself in a person. Talk to me about what your thoughts are with that talent. And I mean, the song that did it, that looks like it really kind of gave you that confidence, was Green Light, which is what you put down for the Joe Bros, which we'll get back into
Yeah.
later on. So like, how did talent versus hard work, was it a break? Like, what are your thoughts on that? And what do you tell those artists that are sitting there with their nose up in the air at you?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I try not to listen to that, because again, I know if someone really feels that way, it's just something they're going through, or they see something that they also want that they don't have, so then they feel that sort of resentment. And that's, I'm not anyone's parent, and I can't change that. And I know for one, I'm not going to allow that to affect my energy. Used to be different a long time ago. I was always trying to make everyone happy, and I wanted everyone to feel amazing, and everyone not to be offended by anything that I said. And I was, it's just a happy-go-lucky, but that it took me down, a hole of just misery, and then I became a worse person around anyone else. So it wasn't positive in any sense. But when preparation meets opportunity, because that's what it was opportunity. You create your own luck. I don't care. Like, for sure, it's like the 1% that I feel like a lot of these conversations, and I love, we talk about military mentality. I'm very, to myself, or have been historically, I'm not much anymore, because when things change, Jordan Peterson says, become a monster, then learn how to tame it. That's the hardest part, by the way. Learn how to tame it. That's what I've been doing this last year. It's changed my life. The learn how to tame it part has changed my life. But I was a monster for extendedly too long. And it was just nonsense. I was very David Goggins mentality, if you know who he is. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
to a T. Not that I found him after I was already that way. I was like, oh my gosh, you're like, this guy gets me, I was like, yes, this is how it should be, and this is how it is. But I didn't spend my time with anyone. I was by myself, like literally like 100% of the time. Even when I was like, I lived in a shed, I lived in a storm cellar, I lived in like all different random places, and then I lived with my sister. But like I wouldn't, and then a couple other buddies in a house, and then there was a shed, and I would just live in it. And I didn't spend my time, like they would have parties and stuff. I wasn't, that's not why I was there, like, and that's great that they wanted to do that. And that was totally fine. And I love them to this day. I love those guys. But that wasn't my mentality, and that wasn't why I was there. And I knew that if it didn't work out, like my parents weren't going to be able to support me to do any of this. And it was only going to be on me. Everything was going to be on me. So therefore I had to make the choice to do everything necessary in order to get to where I wanted to be. It was that simple, right? So I needed to make the schedule, the daily routines, and become the monster, right, that I wanted to be. And I knew that if I wanted to, like the future me I wanted to be, that if that's the case, I had to become someone completely different, because the way that I was living my life was not working, right? But I had to go through rock bottom after rock. As earlier, like we were talking about, I had to go through rock bottom, each one getting worse and worse, to realize like, oh my gosh, like I am the cause and the effect of all my life decisions, and I'm the one. Because as human beings, I talk about this all the time because it needs to be like reiterated. As human beings, we have the best excuses. They're so good. They're like, oh God, because a lot of times they're valid, like almost 90% of the time they're valid. And it's like, that's what holds us back the most, though. No one else. It's so easy to say someone else is holding us back from the things that we want most in this world. And if it was different, then it would be like that. But it's like, what does that do? It's just wasting time, and time is the most valuable asset any of us have here on planet Earth. So once you realize these things, kind of stepping into your new fullest self, it's like, okay, these are the things I have to do in order to become a monster. But then the taming it part was the trickiest for me, because going to your point, so I had bounced around. I used to walk everywhere, ride my bike, and right before the Songland thing and the Jonas Brothers things happened, that week I was supposed to move out to move from California. I was there for a couple years. Nothing happened, like career-wise, anything worth like writing home about. Like I learned a lot, I didn't, and the project Abelheart, before that I produced only. So I learned how to sing on YouTube and how to write, so I did the same thing that I learned how to produce. So I learned that, I grinded, and I understood how to do that. But I felt like I needed to do something that if I left California, which I didn't want to, but it was expensive, I didn't have the money then, I feel like, oh, like I did something, like I put out a part of me. Because going back to what you were talking about earlier, some of the older catalog, if you go all the way down to the beginning of my music, it was completely opposite than it is now. And I left it up there intentionally because I could just take it down and be like, hey, all I make is happy music, and it's positive, and it's blah, blah. But that was never, even from the jump, that was never my full picture. And I want to I don't want to say you have a drug problem, you have a drinking problem, or a gambling problem, sex problem, shopping problem. Like none of that is the problem. It's not the easy thing anyone wants to hear. You're saying drugs aren't a problem? I'll tell you what, drugs were my temporary solution. If I didn't have any of that stuff, I wouldn't be here. I could guarantee you that. There's no way. Like coping. Now I'm not saying that people should go do that because it's going to help you cope. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
It's a temporary solution to a permanent problem being a spiritual malady being a void, a lack that you're feeling on the inside that you're looking to fulfill externally. Shopping, drugs, gambling, whatever it is, right? And it's like, well, how do I do that if I don't want to grab one of these things externally to fulfill it? Because it's only temporary, and it's not sustainable. It's like the same thing you always hear, like if you take this drug or you do this or you drink so much, you're going to need like tenfold more later on, right? It's unsustainable, and it's never the same as the first time you did it. It's just the way it is, right? So if you know that, you're like, okay, well, the only way to fulfill that is internally. We're like, how the frick do I feel something internally with the way that I feel internally? There's no way, right? And that's the journey and the evolution of what I spoke on earlier of us human beings, But it's starting to deep dive into this information and people. I mean, like I said, I was by myself literally almost 100% of the time. And the people on the internet became my friends. It may sound silly, but it is what it is. The Dr. Joes, the Mel Robbins, the Ed Miletts, the Jay Shettys, like I could go on a list of them that I still watch today.
Funny that, hey? That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, so that had happened. So the week leading up, I was like, okay, I need to do something. So I met the one kid that I met out in Los Angeles when I first moved there, I reached out to him. I was like, bro, I want to shoot a music video. Do you like know anybody? My buddy, shout out Johnny. He like knows everybody in LA. And
Yeah.
I just happened to meet him, you know? And nothing just happens by chance, by the way. But he reached out to a buddy of his. He's like, let me see if my videographer can shoot something, blah, blah, blah. And he sent him the music, and this was the old stuff. It was like the Drugs EP. And he was like, bro, he's like, I'll do this for free. I didn't have any money, you know? That's what he said. He's like, I'll do this. Shout out Alex Rinks, phenomenal. And he was like, I'll do this for free. If this is his first project, like, I want to do it. Like, when does he want to do it? And I was like, okay, let's do it like tonight. I'm very much like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it right now. We're going to do it. And I'm going to edit. I'm going to put it out. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very much like
Love it.
that. And so we linked, and I was like, what do you need from me? And he's like, well, just like send me like the treatment that's written out. And I was like, I don't know how to freaking write a treatment. So I just went on Google, like learned how to write a treatment, put everything together, then send it to him probably like, I don't know, like 15 half hour, just right away. He's like, oh my gosh, did you just like do this right now? It's like, it was a full thing. And I was like, yeah, you ready to go? You know? So then I hit him up. He's like, okay, we need to get another girl to like an actress for one of the things. So I hit him my buddy again. He's like, okay, I found this other girl. So we got it, and then pop. And then the next day we went out, she found the spot, which is funny because ironically, it was like, we were looking for really abandoned, broken down motels. And ironically, it's much harder to like to be allowed in them, because if you go up, it's just like, they're like, what are you going to do here? You know, like we're trying to pimp out something. It's really weird. Anyways, I don't even know I brought that up. But so we shot everything. And then I was like, got all the footage. I had it all like on a hard drive. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how to edit. You know, I don't know. And editing is, if not the most expensive part. I was like, I don't even know anyone that could edit. And on top of that, how long is that going to take? Like, I'm leaving this next week. So I was like, F it. You know, I just went into a bunch of debt, ordered a computer and had it like built through them. And I just ordered it, took out a bunch of debt, and then stayed up for 3 nights straight, because it was that week. I stayed up for 3 nights straight and learned how to just Google YouTube, how to use Final Cut, you know, and edited the whole video and then put it out, you know? And I was just like this, you know, because I've been up.
Yeah, no kidding. 52 hours later.
Yeah, losing it. Dude. Did it, put it out, and mind you, my goal behind it, I just wanted to, we talk about the universe, I just wanted to like put out, you know, that feeling, and this is what I went through, and I hope it resonates with someone, but I know that it's also like a way of me venting and being able to express the way that I feel inside without actually carrying through these acts again, right? It's like a release. I did it, put it out, and it got, I believe, like literally 74 views. My intention wasn't to go viral, you know, it's just to put it out into the universe. 74 views. Mind you, that week, 1 out of those 74 views, right before I'm about to leave, was someone at Universal, NBC. How do you make that up? You know, like, how do you make that up? I mean, and everything, yeah, and everything I just spoke about, oh my gosh, I did this and I had that was my life. Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I had to do this. Like, I was very David Goggins. If anyone doesn't know who that is, I feel like everyone does at this point, but just very military. This is how it is. I'm going to do this. But unfortunately, what I didn't know for a long time, and what really held me back, and that I will say that I wish that I would have changed for anyone that is either in that mentality or is like striving to be consistent with like getting things done and keeping your word to yourself, most importantly, is I didn't have balance around that. And I hit a wall in a ceiling, because I want to tell myself I don't hit ceilings. You know, like, I don't do that. Someone else might, you know, but I don't. And that's what I told myself. And I did over and over. And I always reverted back to the same people, places, and things and situations and things that brought me down. And it was the next worst rock bottom and the worst. So I will say balance and like taking care of yourself. Mind you, I always went to the gym, but really like mentally taking care of yourself, because I didn't do that, you know? I was like, none of that freaking matters, you know. I'm gonna buy my house,
meditation.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna buy my mom a house on the beach. Like, that's it, you know.
That's my self-care.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, yeah, but it helped. But you can't make that stuff up, man. I mean, that's what had happened, and someone reached out, and I didn't want to do it. I'll be honest with you. Like, I told them that too. I was like, did you like? I mean, if you go back to, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but if you haven't, like, check it out, because it's a funny story. Like, if you go to that video, it's called "Let Me Drown." It is the most explicit video ever. And I was like, I thought it was fake at first. Like, yeah, we're NBC, we're looking to do this show. Someone saw, you know, they saw your video. I'm like, did they really see it? You know? Yeah.
Where's Ashton Kutcher? Am I getting punked? What is this?
For sure. I was like, this is not real. Yeah, or it's a scam or something.
Yeah, dude. And that's That's real though. That's a, I mean, I just want to take that right there, what you're saying, because that wraps up so nicely the fact that like music for you clearly has been such a cathartic process. Like, says a lot about your passion, says a lot about your value system when you're able to go like, yo, you're going to be here too, and you're probably going to come back. So it's really interesting hearing like you're totally 100% self-made and you were doing it from the love of just like being cathartic. It's interesting because when we look at the music landscape, and especially independent music and artists and entrepreneurs, any kind of brand, they've got this scarcity mindset. Now, you open the song with, you can do anything you want, man. I'm manifesting all things good. Money coming to me, money running through me. Tuned into the frequency, the bass keep booming. I mean, dude, when I heard that, I was like, this guy knows what's up. And that's a track, Money. And how ironic just hearing your whole story. And maybe ironic's not the word, but how effing cool is that, dude? You're now cathartic through the stuff that you're experiencing. And guess what, guys? It works. Talk to me. Walk me through the writing process. How did you get to like writing about manifesting what others would call the woo-woo stuff and then putting it into your music and now making it a popular thing, dude? Like,
I mean, yeah, I mean, and then kind of like I knew music for the most part, and I understand whatever, everyone's in a different place, and we can go into the conspiracy route of what they push towards the radio and who puts whatever the case may be.
I'm all for it.
I don't, you know, like, and that's great, and that for sure happens, but like that's not what I choose to focus my time and energy on. I did at first, you know, because a long time ago, it's like I gotta get in this field and I have to do this within the industry, but it's, like we live in the best time in the age. You don't have to do that. Like you can completely do the same exact thing. Be self-made and do it. You want to learn? I feel like I'll have this conversation with a few people where I'm like, oh, because I'm 100%er, I mix, master, produce, sound design, engineer, sing, write, and I do everything. I could do it. I could make a song in the bathroom and it could go on the radio. Like, I'm not boasting. I'm just telling you a fact, right? And then some people hear that and they're like, well, that's not like the goal for like, everyone doesn't have to do that. That's fine. You're right. Like, not everyone has to do that, but I'm here to tell you and to also show you proof that anyone can do it. And if it's what you want, and I'm not saying, because I also came from the people, places, and things that I couldn't trust, the way that I grew up, like, because of the situations I put myself in, because of the frequency that I was living, regardless if I was sad, whatever excuse I wanted to tell myself. So I didn't trust. So I was like, well, how am I supposed to do this and also send this? And I was needs to be done yesterday, you know? Then how am I going to send something off? And I tried a few things, like would send something off to mix and it would take like 2 weeks. And I'm like, bro, you know, like that's not what I need to do. This should have been done. So I didn't want to I just didn't want to deal with that. And that's fine. Everyone works on a different timeline. But again, I'm here to tell my story and I'm not here to try and offend anyone else. These are just the things that I experienced and I want to live this life as fully as possible while I'm here. I also believe we're in a video game, you know, just the way it works. It is very game-like. Totally. Right? Yeah. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I went through the period of time, I touched on it a little bit earlier, where I was writing about a lot of those dark things. And yeah, it was true. And those are things that I went through. But I was bringing that back I was manifesting that same stuff back into my life, even though I wasn't like living like that anymore. Then I start writing about it consistently, going back mentally to that place. How did it feel? Okay, I'll write about it like this. I'll write about it like this. And then put it out there and then put the negative frequencies in the music. And that's how I was feeling, you know? But then it all started to show up back in my life again. Same people, places, and things and situations, but now on different coasts and over here because I was like, oh my God. I didn't even think I really even knew it up until like recently. I was like, oh my gosh. Wow, that's why that kept happening, because after the manifestation, all the music, I was just like, oh, that's how that happened. That's why I was going through that stuff. I was writing about it. I thought that if I wrote about something like the negative things that I had experienced, that someone else that also was going through that would also hear it and know that they're not alone. Because when you're going through that stuff, that's the one thing you feel like no one else will understand you and you're alone, which is, I'm here to tell anyone that's listening, is not the case, you know, and you are not. And there is a life beyond your wildest dreams. It's just making that choice and that decision to start living differently, you know, and start making different choices and decisions. And that could be like the hardest choice and decision within that, right?
Yeah. I do have a question, Abelheart. When you were expressing, like, you were feeling it, you were pointing, like, where were you feeling it somatically? Like, in your body, what was that sensation when you were going back and writing about all those hard times to try to connect with those people that may feel like they were alone? Like, did you feel that in the body somewhere?
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. In order to like, again, I was sitting there and I was writing it myself. I didn't have co-writers, and I was like, what do you think
Right.
is a better word? Like drugs or something? Like no, like that was something that I would have to sit there and be like, and literally think about stories that I was going through, like or had gone through, and be like, how did that feel? And how, because you have to like tie, this is what I did with, now I feel like this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The
because of
journey.
because of my feeling like this, I ended up doing that, whatever the storyline of that song is. So I would have to go back there. So of course, yeah, I mean, I would feel that. And then you can't help yourself when you're writing over top of something that I just produced. You're already in that feeling, right? But you don't realize you're projecting that negative frequency, because you're like, oh yeah, I'm writing this, even though like that's the excuse. And that's what's really tricky. And it took me a long time to realize, like, my brain was just trying I couldn't trust it. I couldn't trust it, which is such a scary place to be. Changed my
Yeah.
life. But someone once had told me, like, after I kept repeating these things over and over, right? The definition of consistently doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is insanity. So someone had mentioned, they're like, you know, you can't trust yourself. Like you can no longer trust yourself. You've done this too many times. You've hit too many rock bottoms. You've been in too many situations, X, Y, and Z. You're here again. You can't, like, you're going to have to do something different, and you can't trust what you think the next move should be. I was like, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, you can't, your brain is like, it'll fake, it'll like come up with great excuses, but it just wants to see you messed up, miserable, and upset for the rest. I was like, well, I can't trust myself. Like, should I eat soup? Like, should I freaking eat, like, what should I be doing? Like, I mean, it was that deep. Like, I didn't even know myself. That's what I felt. I was like, oh my
Right.
gosh, because I believed them. It was that one part of my life where I also met that one person, and shout out to that one person. I don't remember, I had been to so many treatment facilities at that point, but I was like, I met that one person at that one point in my life when I was like, I'm the cause of all this. There was no excuse. I had exhausted every excuse in my life to blame anybody else or any other situation that happened, but that's why it didn't happen for me, or whatever the case may be. I exhausted it. And then I also met that person at that same time. That's how the universe works. It's like, okay, you done, bro? You done?
Yeah.
And then I met that person that was like, you can't trust yourself, which is crazy. Cause I was like, damn, what am I supposed to do? And then that time of vulnerability is like, I'm just going to listen to people that have either also been there or that know better than me, because I
Mhm.
always thought I knew the best possible
Of
choice and way
course.
and decision, that's what I thought. But I did feel it. To answer your question, I did feel it wholly, which then manifested it back into my life. And then to go back to your question that I don't really think I answered, how I got into this, because I started to
Yeah.
understand that. And then I started to listen to people again, the friends that I made on the internet, the Ed Milet's, the Dr. Joe's, all the people that I would listen to, I'm like the David Goggins. I was like, these are all things, especially Dr. Joe. What if I make all the music and all that I talk about? That's the other thing that really brought this down. Whenever I'm on live or social medias or anything else, I probably should be promoting my music. I mean, yes, I am if I'm, dancing in the street or doing something silly that hopefully will make someone smile, happy, and the algorithm will like it, because at the end of the day, we're at the algorithm's whim. But
Yeah.
I was like, I was having a conversation with my manager, and I didn't want to do hip hop because I was like, what are people going to say, if I do hip hop, even though that's like the only thing I listen to outside of house music. And I was talking to my manager, Charles and Chaz, and they're just like, what if you just talk to, bro, all you talk about is life. Like when you probably like, I was like, oh yeah, I should probably be talking about promoting my music. But when I go on live or talk about anything else, this whole conversation that we're having right now, I can't help myself because I love it. I'm so passionate about it. And I've seen how much it's changed my life, in hopes that it possibly will resonate with someone else and hopefully change their life. Not because of my words, even like, because I just go, like, I feel like most of the time it's just like speaking through me. I don't even know what it is. I have so many like outer body experiences where I'm like watching myself have these conversations. It's the weirdest thing. But that's what it was. It's like, that was my excuse in a positive way. I was like, oh, so I could do hip hop. I make some dope beats. It's got to be dope beats. That's what I told myself. The beats got to
Yes.
be dope, because I don't
Upbeats.
want to,
For
if
sure.
I'm going to talk about manifestation stuff or just like positive stuff, it's got to sound hard. Like it can't be
Yeah.
like,
I was gonna say, like, you can't come
I was
in.
like, it can't be like, now we're manifesting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
do
Dude, we
something.
have a saying. we have a saying in hockey, man. It's 10 play. You can't come
Oh,
in
I
10
love
ply because
yeah, I love that.
'cause 2 ply is real soft on the baby's bottom, but 10 ply, whoa,
I
you
love that.
can't
That's good. I'm gonna have
come
to
in with
steal
10
that
ply.
for a lyric.
Yeah,
Template.
dude, that's
Say template.
100%. Put that writing creds right there.
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
Dude, look,
Yeah,
that's the song. We'll do a collab on 10 ply. Let's do
I
it.
love that. That's
That's
awesome.
the next bop,
I seriously
dude.
love that.
I'm in.
That's
Okay, I'm in.
yeah,
100%.
and
Okay,
yeah,
we're
that's
doing a
what
bop.
yeah, write it down. Don't forget. Yeah, that's just kind of what it was. I was like, okay, so I tried. The first thing that I did was too good. I was like, how could I start it like affirming positive, self? Because it took me a long time to get to that like that self love place. Like I truly like I love myself. Like bro, to be able to say like I never would say that. Definitely would never say it to myself. I wouldn't say it to myself, and I for sure as heck would never say that on the internet, because fear of judgment. Like people would be like, "Oh, he's so narcissistic or condescending, whatever."
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
but I
Totally.
like never. I
Buzzword
had to
of
sit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I had to sit with that, and yeah. But that's kind of how it came about. I was like, shit, like stuff. I mean, crap. If I just talked about all the things that if I just talked about all the things that I talk about on lives when I should be talking about music and put that into lyrics and all these things that I help my life, like, wouldn't that be like the best, wouldn't that be like the best thing ever? Like other people would also, even if they didn't know, like, that's what I want. I wanted to put other people on, even if they didn't understand or know, because it would happen, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, it would just happen. You're listening to it. And I know that frequency works that way. So I was like, then slowly it would bring, because I just want to spread positivity, I just
Dude,
want
I
people
get
to,
it. I get it.
yeah, to help. But that's kind of how it came about. And then it just worked. The first one I did, it worked. The first one.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
yeah.
and then you found that pattern. You're like, oh, being myself is actually the key to this success thing that we talk about. Oh shit.
How freaking nuts is that? How wild is that?
Isn't that wild? Well, how many times did you do this? Because I know I did as an artist. I would give away my music, or I would like play for the bar. You mentioned you had 74 views, and one of them was the ticket, right? That one person. And I mean, it's so hard to, as an independent musician, to get up every night that you go out and play, if you're making music, and hope that right person, like, how does one stay on that path and just believe? Does that come from like your athletic background? Like, how does that translate from one area of your life to keep in shape with overcoming that resistance that you might feel as an artist?
Yeah, I mean that just allows me to have. I knew that from the start of doing any of this. I knew that I had to have my physical activity. Just not. I have this conversation with people. It's like, well, I don't need a 6-pack, or I don't want a 6-pack. It's not what it's about. Like, what it does for your mental is it will blow your mind. And I knew that I needed that. I couldn't cut that element out of my life. For one, I loved it. Even when I didn't love it. And I never wanted to go. But I loved the effect produced, right? If we're talking about the effect produced, I knew how much it benefited my life and drive for everything outside of the gym or training, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think a lot of people also just think that they want, this, or they see stuff online, and they think they want it until they realize all the things that entail. I think a lot of people are definitely meant for it. I've struggled with this over the last few months a lot, I'll tell you, because for the longest time, my whole life, and that's where I'm at, like now, going back and forth with this, because I talk about this stuff so much, and I've just had my whole life, a firm belief that anyone could get this. Anyone. Like this, like anyone, and that's why I try and speak to anyone and everyone. And just over the course of definitely this last year, and more so putting this out on the internet and the things that I talk about, you just like realize like I don't want to think that not everyone could just freaking get this. I believe everyone has a purpose here on planet Earth. I totally believe this. And I'm not speaking on just being an artist. Like I'm talking about like getting this as being a human and internal happiness. And that's like that's the evolution of where we all want to be. But yeah, if that's where you always want to be, it's always in front of you and you're forever chasing it. So if that's the case, it's like, well, then you have to live with that and understand that the moment is where all the meat is. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much information. Then freaking rewind it, listen to it, slow it down, type it into Google, find someone else that could translate it better to you. Like these things are super important in life. And that's the grind. Like what we're having now, like doing this right now, I say this like, this is the meat, this conversation, the things we're talking about, the journey. I'm not worried about, like, I'm sure there's other things, like, I'm sure you got 20 other things to do after this, as do I, and the next thing. But that's like, I'm not worried about that. I'm here now. Like, I'm enjoying this one and I'm excited for whatever's next, like, I don't know. But but what I do know is the unknown, like everything that's in the other, on the other side of fear, and the unknown is a life beyond my wildest dreams. It always has been. Anytime I took that leap of faith, like I said, I didn't even want to do Songland. First I thought it was fake. And then my mom also was like, if you don't freaking do this, you're not coming home. So shout out Ma Dukes.
Yeah,
But
of course.
I was scared, man. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never performed in my entire life and I'm going to do it on national television. And how are they going to edit this? Like, because I already edited a video. So I'm like, you can edit a million different ways, right? A newfound
Yeah.
editor. So, right, all these things, which I now use today. Anything you see is edited. Like, I edit everything and I love it, and it's a balance of all of it. So thanks to past
Dude.
me for going through that, right? But I didn't want to do that because I had so much fear. What's going to happen? How are they going to do? What if I don't win? It's going to be on national television. What are people going to think? And it was like, also like, oh, it's a 50-50 shot. I worked my whole life to do all these things. And this is like the ultimate decision of like, yes, you're meant for this. And this is for you, or no, it's not, all these
Yeah.
things. But I just like, no option, no choice. I definitely externally didn't have no option, no choice. And I was like, in a positive way, of just like, F it, went there. They put me in that week. They were supposed to move out, put me up in the hotel to start shooting. You can't even make that up. Out of fear. And I was also 14's my number. 14, my birthday 7/14. 7 and 7 is 14. It's been my lucky number my whole life. I was in number 14 room there that they put me up in, which is crazy. And all these things started showing, and it changed my life. Every single day that I was there and filming, I was scared, like you wouldn't even believe, like imagine.
Yeah.
And it changed my life, So the one thing, going back to what I was saying, the one thing that I do know is everything on the other side of fear and of the unknown. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm fearful of that, which is totally valid, and I understand. But everything on the other side of that is a life beyond your wildest dreams. It always is. And we're talking about positive stuff here, right? I don't want people to twist my words.
Of
Be like, well, if
course.
you go do something super negative and you're fearful of going to, like, like we're being pretty straightforward here, right? So it's changed my life. How do you have that someone understand? They have to, like, what are you willing to sacrifice? Like, it won't be like that forever, Like, again, I did it for too long. I was a monster for too long. And
Right.
then I realized, like, oh, there's a point where then you have to understand how to tame it. Because things happen
Yes.
in my life because I was a monster. Bah, 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 bah. Preparation meets opportunity. This happened. Bah. Now I need to keep being like this. I just drove myself
Yeah.
into a wall. I needed to understand that. Okay, you're here. You're here, bro. Like,
Yep.
understand, where's your best time spent? Time management. What are you doing? Work smarter, not
Yeah.
harder. Bah, bah, bah.
Yeah.
And
Even to that too, like so many people do talk about time management, and one thing that I changed, just one word on time management rather than time, because that's we could be here all day with if that's real or not. Energy management, like where are you spending your energy? Are you putting that into the people? And like, it's what we consume. It's not just the food that we eat. It's all like, where are you spending time? What are you listening to? You mentioned some really great points earlier. You're listening to the Dispensas. You're listening to Shetty, and you've got Ed Milet, and you've got, have you dove much into Paul Check?
no.
Dude,
No, I
I'm gonna
will.
hook you up.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to hook you up with Paul, okay?
Yeah.
Your rituals, your habits, they are directly related to your content, to your branding. You're so consistent with the stuff. Everything looks spot on. Walk me through like a day in the life, typical Abelheart day. I know he's not always just dancing around in the streets doing these things.
Yeah.
What's the typical day? What are some of these like top secrets that people could start to look at and adopt if they aren't in the place that they want to be in their life?
Yeah, man, you said it earlier, and it took me a long point to get there, but what you said was, I'm just being me. And that's crazy. That's amazing. I have to stop saying, like, that's crazy. That's unreal. It's not even
No.
It
It's
is.
so real. It's
It's
absolutely
so
perfectly real.
But that's the key, man. And that's really what it is. It's just like, I'm just putting out my true, authentic self, and I fully feel that. And I really am that way. The things that I put out on the internet, because for the longest time I would hold that back. I would just because we all have different like volumes of our personality, right? But I would always very much like hold that back because like it's too much. Or my whole life, everyone's like, and by the way, I'll say I usually say it on every podcast, but I'm not on anything. You know, like
No,
I'm very high
dude,
on
I
life.
totally had that as a question. Like, I'm sure you get that because I get that all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
I
dude,
get it.
what are you on? Are you cocaine? Are you a
Yeah,
meth head? Like, what is it? Like, you're insane. Like, what is going
yeah.
on? I'm like, no, I'm literally, that is
I'm
the
high on
energy of
life.
life, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it all the time.
I have something for that. That's the essence of life, buddy. Right? Like,
Yeah. And I think it's sad, like, and I always try to have empathy too for people that are saying certain things because I understand that hurt people, you know, and some people saying these things might have no awareness, you know, so I know it wouldn't be doing like any justice to someone else, let alone myself, to get upset or to be like, bro, like you don't even freaking understand, like just go sit in the corner, you know, uh, as much as like at times, especially some of the things that you see or I hear, I'm just like,
yeah,
but I
that's
understand,
them
that
going
a
through
lot of
their stuff.
yeah, so that's why I do, and I do think it's important, and I think it would be a disservice for me not to talk about these things that have helped me in my life, and so much that I talk about them because and it's really not crazy, but it is wild to think about. There are so many people on this earth that don't have any of this awareness. And
Yeah.
that's a scary place to be because I was there, and it's a scary place to be because you just think like that's the way life is. This just happens to me, and that's what it
Yeah.
is. Oh, of course, things were going good. I grew up with that mentality. My dad would always say, shout out to my dad. I love my dad. There's nothing bad about him. He grew up right. We're only products of our past self, of people, places, and things, and we're
Yeah.
past programming, right?
Yeah.
And I try and have these conversations with him now. Good would happen. Then you'd be like, oh, it's bound to be something bad. Oh, that makes me even just say it now, man. That makes me feel
Oh,
so like something bound to happen. Oh, of course. Well, it was just going good. And this happened. Oh my gosh. And
dude.
so it puts that right into your brain. And then you actually understand how manifestation and frequency and living it that actually works. And you believe that this is a video game like that. Then you actually project that and then you're receiving it back. It's just law of attraction. It's the way. It's literally a
Bingo.
law. It's a
Yeah.
law. Go.
But homie, like the thing that really like it tilted the scales for me is that I had a habit of catastrophizing problems. There was always a problem. And that's like this is the kind of stuff I teach with like performance mindset, is that your thoughts are really articulated through your language, both the words that you use out and the words that you tell yourself inside, like the story, right?
Yeah.
Pile up all of those thoughts into a big stack of pancakes here, and you got a belief system. Okay. That belief system carries out your outcome or your action. So if you're unhappy about where you're at, you got to examine the belief system that you're subscribed to, and then you can change it radically, practically through the words that you use. And this is the thing, the pen, abracadabra, man, you got to write this stuff down.
Yeah. Pen to paper, something about it.
Bingo. Dude, because the words matter, right? Because again, the reticular activating system, what you're talking about,
Ooh,
law of attraction, reticular activating system, the way you are, if you're looking for the problem, you're going to find it every single time. Just like when you start saying you're crazy, oh, it's so crazy. You're going to think that that's crazy. And no, do you know the definition of weird, man? Like the etymology of weird, the word weird. Why do we use weird for guys like you and me? I'm sure you've been called weird before, yeah?
Yeah. I'm curious. The actual. No, yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, dude. It comes from Old English WYRD, which means fulfilling higher purpose. How wild is that?
Yeah.
That's weird, right?
That's awesome. I mean, that's the definition of that. Me finding that out is phenomenal.
Homie,
Makes me
yeah,
hyped.
dude. Like that's the second track. That's we got 10 fly and weird.
Weird. Yeah,
But with
I'm
a Y.
weird.
Yeah, dude. Weird.
I love it. I
Get your
love it.
mom on the guitar. Get another melody from mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got both of them
I'll
involved.
talk to
Yeah.
mom. Dude, on that note, I showed my mom that. I'm like, Mom, why aren't we doing this? Like,
What'd she say?
she goes, "Hmm?" I'm like, I think we got a mom track here. I'm gonna
Yeah,
take
you gotta do
mom.
it.
I'm gonna for weird.
That's awesome.
What if we had more people embracing their weirdo? Dude,
Or would it be brighter, man? Tell you that.
that's what I'm saying. All right. We're gonna play one game. Hot or not? Fanny pack. Hot or not?
Yeah, a fanny pack? I don't know if I've ever fanny pack. I could rock one. Yeah, hot.
Yeah, you definitely. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay, well, this one's obvious. Mustache.
Of course.
Of
I don't know
course.
how long it'll be here, but
How about frosted tips? Hot or not?
these are what the things like this? Definitely hot. Definitely hot. All day.
Okay, how about? I'm sure I know the answer here. Nip slips in the gym.
Oh my gosh. Oh, my nipples are always out. I just got in trouble
That's
for it the
all
other
you
day.
wear.
Like you gotta put
That's what I
Yep.
said. I think I know the answer here, dude.
I get in trouble for it all the time. This should just be the screenshot of the
Just
the thumbnail.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
You and me just like nip slips all day.
Yeah. I can't believe this happened.
Dude, I don't know what happened. Oh, promo.
Oh yeah, be awesome.
Dude, what's the go-to exercise when you're nip slipping it up in the gym? What's the favorite?
It's a good one. I love abs and I love chest more than anything. But recently, I do love abs and chest recently. Biceps are always they definitely are my favorite, but that's
Yep.
because they're the easiest. Like to just
course.
exhaust, you know? What I need to do, and I was just saying this to my manager, I was like, I need to I think I might soon. We'll see. Maybe after I leave Miami or while I'm still here, get a trainer. You know,
Yeah.
obviously I know what I'm doing in the gym, but I think that would be so much like next level. You know, then
Oh,
you have someone there,
Dude,
and
it's
so
yeah.
yeah. So I'm thinking about it.
Look at all your best coaches. All your best coaches have a coach. What's 1% more?
That's what I'm after, baby.
What are your thoughts on time travel? Is that cool?
I mean, I'm open to anything now, man. I just feel like any of it's possible. You know, who freaking knows? Who am I
Okay.
to say? It's probably real. To answer your question.
If I were able to take you back, time travel style, to like Land Before Time, like dinosaurs,
Mhm.
could you eat a whole dinosaur if I gave you like a week?
Yeah, that's the most random question I've ever been asked, but I think I could. I mean, it would depend on how hungry I was. I feel like before
Yeah.
I took the trip to try and travel, I'd have to make sure I was prepared right and I didn't eat. And I just did like a nice fasting, you know? And I set that up and then I traveled depending on how long it would take to, go in between the time travels.
Yeah.
I think I'd be pretty good. Like a week? You're giving me a week to eat a
A week?
dinosaur? I mean, how big's the
Yeah, I think-
dinosaur, you know?
That's up to you. Like, it could be a little guy. A lot of
It's
people
up
don't
to
consider
me.
those
Do
variables.
I have to kill it?
Right?
Do I have to kill a dinosaur?
You gotta kill a dinosaur, bro. It's up to you.
Damn. All right, so if it's up to me, yeah, from the choice of dinosaur that I'm thinking, like size-wise, while still being a challenge, but not too like just a little guy, I could do it.
Great answer. This has been wild, brother. Thank you so much for your time here. What's next for you, Abelheart? What is on the horizon, dude? What you got? What you got cooking?
So a big thing that is like super, super important to me in building, and we've seen like just be phenomenal for everyone else. We just started a community. It's called heartfam.com. So all the stuff that pretty much throughout this whole podcast that we just spoke on, where it has everything we do, unreleased music every single week. We have exclusive merch drops. We're filming just like we're doing podcasts here. We have specific exclusive podcasts just for heartfam.com. And we're doing giveaways. Everyone's been phenomenal. We were doing a giveaway last week on heartfam.com, and it was like, we can't just do one, so we had to do like 3 of them, which is so cool to be able to be at a place where we could do stuff like that. And I really want to grow it continuously, keep growing it in the platform, and then all the things that I talked about, plus a ton of BTS. BTS that I'll never put on the internet. Just what else was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, but everything that I talk about, we just had a conversation about over this, was like, how can I provide as much value and everything be in one place that potentially someone may not see somewhere else, or things that I'm just not going to post anywhere else, all in one place. And plus, Abraham Hicks has been a huge game changer for me as well. But being able to post a lot of these things, like personally, these are the things that have helped me, and I've saved up all of these videos. I have so much stuff, and I'm just like, it doesn't even make sense for me to put some of this stuff out. Anyone that's on this wave or is learning to grow as a human being or evolve as an individual, whatever the case may be, or potentially also just like I said, there's a bunch of music on there that's unreleased, that's not put out anywhere else, or new drops before stuff comes out. Everything is exclusive in this community. So So yeah, that's to answer your question. Yeah, that's what's going on in building that platform, as well as just the unknown. Like all these things be happening, bro. Like I just let it flow. Let it flow
Oh
and let
man.
it come in. I'm receiving it. I'm ready for it all, and I'm also ready for the unknown and all of it. It's exciting.
Dude, I do. You've been a huge inspiration to both my artistic journey as a musician, but also just as a human, dude. Like, you're just a great vibe. I'm sure if we're down in Miami or making videos together, this
Well,
has
for
been
sure.
an absolute blast, right? One final thing here, though. I would love to know well, I guess two parts. What do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? I'm having as big of an impact as possible on people's lives in a positive way.
Dude, what a longevity game. I love that. And for anybody out there, what's your best kept secret to success? For all those indie artists out there trying to get going.
Getting out of your own way. That's it, man. I mean, it's like 98% of it. 99. Almost 100%, I swear.
It'd be 100% if we have mustache.
That's true. I just did it because I was like, I'll never do it. I'll probably get judged for it, so it'll be cool. We're stepping into new evolution of you, man. That's what I said to myself in the mirror.
I love it. Well, my big takeaways are I got to get a mustache. We're going to write 2 bops. We got 10 ply and weird. And everybody get out of your own way. You are your own biggest critic, and you can actually be the eternal rock star if you want it. Right? So get out of your own way. Love it. Abelheart, thank you so much for your time, your space, and your energy, brother. It's been an absolute blast.
You too as well, man. I appreciate me having me.